Hello mortals, I'm the BookTube Goddess, the #1 drag queen booktuber on YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, when I was doing my last Shelve It or Shoved, I almost picked up the young adult book Iron Widow by Xiran Zhao. And someone in my comments says, oh, that author's actually a booktuber or a YouTuber. I'm not sure what this person does, but I wanted to check out the channel. But first, it's so exciting to see a YouTuber or booktuber get their book published. So real quick, let's take a look at Iron Widow. The boys of Huaxia dream of pairing up with girls to pilot chrysalises, giant transforming robots that can battle the mecha aliens that lurk beyond the Great Wall. It doesn't matter that the girls often die from the mental strain. When 18-year-old Zedian offers herself up as a concubine pilot, what? It's to assassinate the ace male pilot responsible for her sister's death. But she gets her vengeance in a way nobody expected. She kills him through the psychic link between pilots and emerges from the cockpit unscathed. She is labeled an Iron Widow, a much feared and much silenced kind of female pilot who can sacrifice boys to power up chrysalises instead. Okay, this is reminding me a lot of that movie Pacific Rim, and Mech Warriors goes way back. I actually played a role-playing war game where we used little mech warriors and, left turn. If there are any war gamers out there, let me know if you've played any Battletech. Anyway, sounds kind of interesting, and I think obviously she's probably bringing a lot of her Asian heritage. But what's especially interesting to me is the male-female dichotomy where these mech pilots are paired up, I guess, male-female, and usually the female dies and is a concubine as well. I'm not sure about that part, but I like how the hero is a woman who lives and her male partner dies, and therefore she is the Iron Widow. And I know I didn't pick it for Shelve It or Shove It just based on the cover, but reading the blurb makes me more interested. But if I do read it, and I am kind of intrigued, I probably won't do a review because I feel weird doing book reviews on YouTube when the author is a YouTuber or someone I know. But maybe that's just me. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Anyway, what I wanted to do today is to look at Xiran Zhao's channel because I've never heard of this person. And I want to find out more, especially since, at least in BookTube, we're not that diverse. And she seems like another Asian YouTuber like myself. So let's take a look at her channel. Okay, I'm looking at Xiran Zhao's channel. I think I've been saying she, her, but could be they, them. I don't know. But just looking at the banner, it looks like this person does a lot of cosplay. And I wonder if they do a lot of cosplay in videos. Not that I would know anything about that. This channel has 335,000 subscribers, which is amazing. And yeah, I don't think this is a BookTube channel, since that would be nuts if this was BookTube, because very few BookTubers have those types of numbers. But let's just take a look at the video list. And the last video was 4 days ago, 160K. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. 6, 12, 15 videos. There's only 15 videos. The last one was 1 year ago. Would be so jealous if I knew this person actually just started a year ago, has 335K subscribers, and has only done 15 videos. So what I am guessing is that some videos have been privated, at least I think that's logical because that was just the first video 1 year ago is 2.8 million, followed by 2.5. Maybe this person just got lucky and got viral videos and racked up a bunch of subscribers. So good for them. That's all I can say. Good for them. I wish I knew how I could do that. So there's not a whole lot to look at. And I am not seeing that many bookish videos. Why? Well, let's just look at all the videos. Started off in 1 year ago, everything culturally wrong with Mulan. And it looks like it's in several different parts. Chinese cultural details in Netflix. Okay, so this looks like mostly commentary on Asian representation or how Asians are portrayed or developed in movie format, like Mulan or Avatar: The Last Airbender or Kung Fu Panda or lots of Mulan. And nothing about their book, which is kind of interesting. Now, I have seen Mulan, the live action version that they're talking about here. And I enjoyed it, but I did have very strong feelings. I don't know much about the cultural history. As you know, I identify as Japanese American, and I don't even know that much about Japanese history that I can comment on it, at least with the authority that we're going to see here, I assume. So I'm here for it. I'm here to be educated.
Mulan's dad, Zhao, telling Mulan's story to their ancestors. I mean, okay. You can already feel that they fully intend on making this movie seem Asian by throwing a bunch of words around like ancestors, honor, family. And anyway, Mulan is introduced as a girl who already enjoys training to fight. This is an immediate departure from the ballad Disney claims to be trying to adapt, because in the ballad, Mulan starts off sighing at a weaving loom. She was a very typical woman of her time, but it's her determination to save her father that drives her to transcend her abilities and become a great warrior. In this movie, with Mulan starting off as brave and powerful, it doesn't leave much room for character development.
True.
And she doesn't end up getting any. And at this point in the movie, her dad is all, if you had a daughter whose chi was this powerful, could you tell her that only a son could wield chi? This was the part that really gave me pause. And it's like 1 minute into the movie. What is chi? It's life energy. It flows through everyone, not just boys. It's the basis of acupuncture. In traditional Chinese medicine, it flows through the human body in a network of meridians. Acupuncture is when you stick needles in those meridians to manipulate someone's qi flow. Yes, qi is a common buzzword in wuxia stories, or what white people call martial art movies, which are based in the Taoist belief that you can gain supernatural abilities by using qi, but you do it by cultivating that qi. That's a word this movie could have used to make it feel more right, but it didn't. Then the camera pans to where Mulan lives, a distinctly southern Chinese Tulo. Why is this a problem?
That's kind of funny because if women could wield chi, that they wouldn't be alive. I think that's the point they're making here.
Mulan is an iconic northern Chinese tale. She lived in an era called the Northern and Southern Dynasties, which meant China was split in two back then. The emperor of a northern dynasty would not go to the southern dynasty to conscript troops. This is an example of Disney getting facts wrong solely for the pretty aesthetic. Because Tulo are pretty and they look very exotic, I guess. In the Tulo, little Mulan chases a chicken onto a roof and falls, but does a bunch of sweet maneuvers and lands on her feet, to the astonishment of everyone. Again, she's established as having an impressive ability right in childhood. Her mom becomes worried that because of these abilities, Mulan won't find a husband because people will call her a witch. That's just not how women are demonized in Chinese culture. More likely she'd be called an evil spirit, especially a fox spirit, hulijing, or some kind of demon. The dad then comes outside and tells Mulan that they have a statue of a phoenix in front of their ancestral shrine because it's the emissary of their ancestors. Personally, I haven't heard of anyone whose family has an emissary for their ancestors. What ancestors do in Chinese culture is send you dreams. This is called 托梦, and they ask you to do like just weird shit. Mulan's like, oh no, then it's super bad that I broke her during my chicken chasing. And the dad is like, nah, phoenixes rise from the ashes. This isn't a huge problem because Eastern phoenixes and Western phoenixes have gotten so muddled and confused with each other that even like native Chinese people don't like, they mix it up too. But I have to point out that traditionally Chinese phoenixes don't do the whole rise from ashes thing. They're just there to look beautiful and graceful and to be a good omen to the empire when they're seen. Her dad goes all, your chi is strong, Mulan, but chi is for warriors, not daughters. Once again, completely misunderstanding what chi is. Chi is not the force. It's not this mystical oriental force. It's basically another physiological thing, like blood. Would you say blood is for warriors, not daughters? No, you wouldn't. Her dad also tells Mulan it's time to hide her gift away. So they gave Mulan a superpower. They made her Asian Elsa. In my opinion, that immediately takes away a huge part of what makes Mulan such a great character, because Mulan is not a character who was born great. She works for that, and that's a very, like, Eastern story thing. The protagonists of Eastern stories, they work hard for their abilities. Then the title card appears, and the camera goes to the Silk Road in northwest China. A Silk Road trader comes across the witch played by famous Chinese actress Gong Li. She can step on. Now, the witch is actually a character that gave me pause way back when the trailer dropped, because China doesn't have witches. Witch is such a charged word and evokes such a specific idea that it's confusing when you use it in a Chinese context, because the specific idea doesn't exist in Chinese culture. Yet this movie went with the common Western ideal of witch, a woman who can do magic and is ostracized by society because of it. Now, there are women in ancient China who can do magic, like shamanesses, soothsayers, but those women are respected and generally hold high positions in the court. And there are women who are criminalized for using magic, such as like a court lady using a voodoo doll against one of her rival concubines. It happens all the time. But their crime is trying to harm someone, not doing magic in general. There's no persecution that happens specifically because you are a woman and you're using magic.
That is so interesting. And yeah, it didn't even occur to me to question this witch character, except that it wasn't in the cartoon. So I was like, well, why did they include that? But like I said, we are being educated.
Honestly, there's an easy fix to the witch's entire character. Don't make her human, make her a bird spirit instead.
Ooh.
A big thing in Chinese myth is the spirit of animals or even inanimate objects cultivating their way into taking human form. That she would be persecuted for because, like, she's not human. One fix and her character would have made so much more sense. She even has the existing abilities of a spirit. Possession, shape-shifting, she's got it. This is why Disney should have just hired a Chinese screenwriter. Because they could have just changed some words in their script and not look like utter clowns. Anyway, movie.
I think the other reason why they wanted, I don't know if they even thought about it, but having the parallel between the witch being ostracized and Mulan being ostracized for being non-traditional women, I think where it's a thing that the apparently white writers wanted to parallel. But great points.
The possessed trader goes to what looks like a Western Chinese garrison city. I'll give credit where credit is due. They got the general look right. Most cities in ancient China were walled, and you had to go through a guarded gate like that to get in. And then the Rorans arrive. This is where they try to be more accurate to the original ballad than the cartoon. In the cartoon, they used Huns, inaccurate and racist. Rorans are indeed the correct group of nomadic people that Mulan would have fought. But, fun fact, Mulan is most likely from the Northern Wei dynasty, which is established by another nomadic people, the Xianbei. The ballad even refers to her emperor as the Great Khan. Anyway, the soldiers at the gate shoot an arrow at the Roran leader. He catches it with his bare hand, then shoots it back at the city, which is a signal for the witch to reveal her true form. Now, it's unclear if she possessed the Silk Road trader or, took on his appearance. Very unclear. But she takes down some soldiers from the inside, and then the rest of the Rorans scurry straight up the wall. Now, I've seen some complaints about this part. It doesn't deserve it. Scaling walls is a common trope in wuxia media. At this point, I've accepted that the movie is not historical fiction like originally promised. It's historical fantasy, which is fine. I don't mind supernatural elements in a retelling. Happens all the time in great Chinese literature. Half of great Chinese literature is just fantasy fanfiction of historical events. My problem?
I don't remember hearing that Disney was trying to be historically accurate when it came to Mulan, but I do know that Disney is quite infamous from departing from source material. Oops, my camera cut off, but I encourage you to go to Xiran J. Zhao's channel and check out the full video for yourself because it is quite interesting. But again, I just want to get a feel of this YouTube channel. I wish there was more book-related things in here, but going through, let's just contrast that first video with a more recent video, and the one I'm looking at here is how a nun became China's only female emperor. Again, this is a very long video, and I encourage you to check it out. But let's just see the evolution of Xiran J. Zhao.
Have you ever failed at achieving your dreams at a young age and felt like you've lost your chance forever? This must have been what a certain imperial concubine of the Tang Dynasty felt when she was forced to become a Buddhist nun after her emperor husband died because she didn't bear him any children. By all conventional rules, this should have been the end of her life as she knew it. She would have to spend the rest of her days reciting sutras and eating vegetarian and just waiting for reincarnation. But this concubine was not one for following the rules. No, years later, she will go on to become the only female emperor in Chinese history. So how did she do it? To understand, we have to go back to the year 624, when she was born. In the same year, a total eclipse was visible over China, traditionally an omen of great change to come. The historical records didn't preserve her birth name because it rarely did for women, so I'm just gonna call her what she's conventionally known as, Wu Zetian, which is not something she actually ever used as a name, but I'll explain it later down the line. Anyway, Zetian was born to a kind of new money family. Her father, Wu Shiyue, was a merchant who made a killing selling lumber during the previous dynasty, Sui. The Sui dynasty was really unique in that it started off amazing, having reunited China after 400 years of war-torn chaos, but its second emperor messed up terribly. He was way too ambitious for his own good. Like, he wanted to be one of those emperors whose glory goes down in history, who really changes the world, so he conscripted the masses for a series of gigantic construction projects. Hence why Zetian's dad was able to make a fortune selling lumber. But the emperor didn't factor in the human cost of these projects. The way he rushed them ended up killing millions of workers, and finally the whole country had enough and rose up against him. One of the revolutionary factions was led by Li Yuan, the emperor's maternal cousin. Seeing the tides of fate turning against the Sui dynasty, Wu Shiyue went up to Li Yuan like, "Oh hey, heard you and your son are trying to pull off an uprising. Oh my Chinese gods, I feel the same. Come stay in my house, I have so much money. Yeah, take it all, go pay your troops, like, use it for the revolution. Power to the people!" And his gamble paid off. The Li family were the ones who ended up pulling off the revolution. So Wu Shiyue landed a cushy job after the establishment of the Tang Dynasty. This man was very good at seizing opportunities. This will be genetically relevant. If you are also one for bending the rules and seizing opportunities, I gotta tell you about the sponsor of this video, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark's been sponsoring me for a long time now, and I'm happy to keep talking about them.
Oh, that cat is so cute. You know me and cats. Let's skip past Surfshark.
To aristocracy this time. And so the wife that the emperor chose for Wu Shiyue was Lady Yang, a member of what was once the Sui imperial family. They may no longer be the ruling dynasty, but their social status was still pretty high up there, since China had a policy of treating the previous imperial family well after the war and stuff was settled. Lady Yang was 44 and Wu Shiyue was 46, but amazingly, they ended up having 3 daughters together, the second of which is our protagonist, Zetian. Legends say that when Zetian was a baby, a fortune teller Yuan Tiangang came to her estate. Upon seeing her mother, he was like, "Oh ma'am, I can tell by your bone structure that you have borne some very noble children," because face reading was a thing back then. It kind of still is. It's like a mystical version of judging someone by their looks. Anyway, the fortune teller then went on to appraise the children of the Wu family. First, Zetian's 2 stepbrothers from her dad's previous marriage were brought out. The fortune teller said that they could eventually become rank 3 officials, which is pretty high up there, but since their dad is already a rank 3 official, it meant that they weren't really gonna make the family any greater than it already was. Then, Zetian's older sister of the same mother was brought out. The fortune teller judged her to have a noble future, but she would bring bad luck to her future husband. Finally, toddler Zetian was brought out, though she was dressed in boys' clothes that day for some reason. The fortune teller was like, this lad seems striking, though he's hard to read. Let me see him walk a little bit. And so Zetian was put on the floor and made to walk. Then the fortune teller freaked out and was like, oh, this kid has the eyes of a dragon and the neck of a phoenix. It's too bad he's a boy, because if he were a girl, she'd become ruler of all under heaven. Now, this story sounds very made up, and it probably was. But who knows? It's in the definitive historical records of the Tang Dynasty, so I have to tell it to you. Founding emperors of dynasties, and Zetian counts as one, tend to come with a bunch of spooky, mystical stories to justify how they were meant to have the mandate of heaven all along. Anyway, as a daughter of a rich family, Zetian didn't really have to do domestic chores, so she was encouraged to read and write by her parents. She spent her childhood moving around China because her dad jumped between various regional government positions. Wu Zhiyue had it all. He was a self-made man who first earned himself the riches, then got status from his emperor buddy and aristocratic wife. And then he died. Almost immediately, the huge family that was held together by him fell apart, because all his daughters...
As you can tell, Xiran Zhao is, of course, very charismatic, which you need to succeed on BookTube, but also very knowledgeable and brings a great Asian perspective to, I guess, movies and TV shows they review, as well as these historical lessons. And it kind of makes me even more interested for Iron Widow even more. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Now, I'll make sure that the channel and the videos that I looked at will be linked below, as well as a link to their upcoming book. But let me know, does looking at this channel or knowing more about the author make you want to buy Iron Widow even more? I think I do. Please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until we meet again, may all the books you read be blessed.